Welcome everybody to the Banking Association for Central Eastern Europe third Anti-Money Laundering Conference. We've had a fantastic session this morning, and my particular role has been to talk about the forthcoming fourth Money Laundering Directive. Now, there's one key aspect of this, because money laundering legislation, not just in this part of Europe, but pretty much worldwide, has not been particularly effective to date. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that it is more effective, and the way that we're doing that is to move to what's called a risk-based system. So this morning we've had lots of conversation about risk, all the fundamental components of risk, what happens when things go wrong, how to put them right, and how, importantly, how to make best use of your resources. Because resources are pretty much finite in most organisations. Lots of people focus very much on cost, perhaps without looking at the benefits, and we need to get over that. So that's what we've been focusing on this morning.
Well, thank you, BACEE, for inviting me to this conference. I found this interesting, very interesting. My subject was in trade-based money laundering. So the idea here was to be able to talk about the challenges that banks face in terms of trade finance issues. It's a relatively new area, and so it was important to at least help the banks here understand some of the challenges and issues that they could potentially face. Now, trade finance, especially money laundering, is happening in many parts of the world, including Asia, Europe, North America, and South America. So it's important to bring that same message here to Central Europe so that they have a better appreciation of some of the challenges that their banking partners face as well.
If a fraud is discovered, remember that the early stages are the most critical, and the one thing I would encourage you to do is to focus on getting your investigation team right at a very early stage. You don't want to allow evidence or assets to become interfered with or to be placed beyond your reach, because that could affect your ability to recover those assets. Do speak to the right people. Do bear in mind there is lots of support that can be given to support asset recovery actions, and I would very much encourage you to speak to your lawyers and accountants at an early stage if anything is discovered.
Anti-money laundering compliance at all has been proven to be a topic of the day, and increasing demand of our customers for the information that is necessary to prove, to check, just give us confidence that these topics will be pronounced more and more. Also, when we take in consideration the fourth European Union directive about anti-money laundering, know your customer, we see that these topics have a clear future, and we will have to be much more compliant with all kinds of regulations in the future than we used to be in the past.
The banks are very good in detecting money laundering, and a long time they have no experience how to detect AML aspects, and therefore it is very useful that banks collaborate here on a conference, how to do it and how to cooperate with financial intelligence units, policy forces, and something else. So therefore, I really appreciate that you have established a conference type where the possibility is to discuss certain aspects, issues, and bring all the thoughts together. We as a Deloitte practice, we are also able to support you, and we do that often in projects. We have so many issues confronted, and then we also looking how to help you and how to collaborate even better. And there are so many aspects to do, and I think that we have a very good cooperation between us all, and therefore we are all strong in fighting against anti-money laundering. Thank you.
This is a quick summary of the presentation we just had today on the KYC and customer due diligence efficiency and need for coherence. A few minutes, actually 15 minutes or about, we discussed the different regimes and the different needs for the KYC obligations. The key message, I think, is about understanding the risks in order to be able to correctly apply the risk-based approach. By this, understanding the risk and applying the proper set of controls, we would efficiently complete the KYC obligations, not just for documentation and audit requirements, but also really efficiently to tackle the risks that some of our clients can represent. The second part of the presentation was more about the efficient data capture. Here again, this is about using most of the technology and the simplification of processes to be sure that the data captured is done on a need basis, on a proper format, and regularly updated. This is the key message that we have for today.